Voight-Kampff of Blade Runner 2049 by myself, Brianna Longaberger. This film, released in 2017, is the sequel to the original cult classic sci-fi film Blade Runner, starring Harrison Ford and Sean Young, that released in 1982. These films portray the dichotomy and struggles between humans and replicants. Bioengineered and created through science, these replicants are designed to be more human than human, but are employed and enslaved by humanity. Officer K, played by Ryan Gosling, is a replicant and known as a Blade Runner, a specific department within the police force that tracks down rogue replicants and retires them by killing them. Some of the semantics you will find in this film is that it's set in the future of the year 2049. The setting is a dystopia due to a major blackout that destroyed all electronic data, and this is covered in one of the 3 prequels to this film called Blade Runner Blackout 2022. In the top image is a picture of Officer K looking at an advertisement for Joy, which is an artificial intelligent companion that you can purchase. A version of Joy is portrayed as Officer K's girlfriend in this film, and the shots are very wide and anamorphic and color graded to be very dark, gloomy, or rainy, which helps to build on this feeling of a dystopia. Sounds of an abundance of in-your-face advertisements and scenes of overpopulation culminate into the mise-en-scène to create this dark and dystopian world. Some of the metaphors are replicants can be compared to tools and not actually people, as they have been treated as something that can be used and disposed of. This film displays a sharp contrast of the benefits and downfalls of technology. Some of the allegories are through technology and transhumanistic aspirations, we could in fact eventually wipe out the human race and be replaced by a higher evolved species created through technology. Another allegory this film leans into is a religious one. Neander Wallace and Eldon Tyrell were gods. Deckard and Rachel are Mary and Joseph, while Kay is Jesus Christ and sacrifices himself for his people. The ideologies are pretty straightforward, as to have a soul one must be naturally born and not bioengineered, and that memories make us who we are. The representation of gender is represented as very binary, as just being either men or women. The men are portrayed to be passive, while women are shown to be either very dominant and controlling, or the exact opposite, as submissive and overly sexualized. The sexuality in this film has zero representation of anything in the LGBTQ spectrum and focuses on mainly heterosexual relationships. Although Joy is artificial, she is designed to have a female gender identity. Like the movie titled Her, this film shows that men will eventually be able to fall in love with artificial intelligence. The representation of race in this film is like many other sci-fi films before it. Shows a future that is mainly white, and any characters with any different ethnicities have very little screen time at all. Replicants are not considered to be human because they were not naturally born, and they do not possess a soul. This pushes replicants into a race of their own, as they are not considered to be part of the human race. The class representations. There are, aside from the overpopulation and representation of lower class people, 2 main classes focused on in this film. That is, replicants and humans. Replicants are shown to be beneath humans and are under constant harassment and discrimination by humans in society. For example, in this scene when Officer K is walking through the police department and one of the other officers spits in his face and calls him some bad names just because he's a replicant. So they are discriminated against by humans. Replicants also have subclasses of their own based on their Nexus model numbers. In the original film, it showcased Nexus 6 and 7 models, and in Blade Runner 2049, K is a Nexus 9 model, which in this timeline is the only acceptable model, as previous model numbers need to be hunted down and retired and killed. AI transhumanism technology presence. This is the heart of the film, as it displays AI as reaching a point of singularity. meaning that AI has become self-aware, can make decisions for itself, and develop emotions. Neander Wallace, played by Jared Leto, can be speculated to be a human cyborg enhanced by technology, whose main goal is to create these transhumanistic and more human than human replicants, and by all means is trying to engineer a way for these replicants to be able to reproduce on their own, so they can expand their numbers throughout the universe, eventually surpassing and taking over humanity's place in the universe. This plays into the allegorical story that technology will in fact lead to the end of humanity as we know it one day. The impact in canon. The universe of 2049 is consistent to the canon of the original film, as it stays in the same setting and universe of the original and expands upon its story and characters. And I feel the biggest impact this film makes is, at what point do we as a society consider AI to be alive? And if we were ever to create something that is self-aware, should it or they receive the same equality and rights that human beings deserve? And here's a slide of the bibliography that I used to do a little research on this film, as well as watching it several times. I think it's a great film. I hope you check it out. These are some really great articles, so if you get a chance, please take the time to read a few of them. I think you'll really enjoy it. And thank you for watching my presentation. Have a great day.